All right, Josh, are you in the room?
Yeah, I'm
Get
here.
you brought up. There we are. All right. Welcome. This is our friend Josh Adams. And very good. Where are you calling in from today, Josh?
Cedar City, Utah right now.
Very good. Well, hey, we're going to talk about some things. Don Huber mentioned yesterday glyphosate. It's not good. A lot of people say we can't farm without that stuff, without those chemicals, without the NPK and that chemical cocktail. So I know Josh. I bought hay from Josh. I've walked on his farm ground. I've smelled his soil. I've tasted his alfalfa plants, and he's the real deal. And so we're sure grateful that you're here with us, Josh. Let's get you queued up. And if you got a presentation, we can jump right in.
Yeah, that sounds good. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge William DeMille's beard. I think it's on point today. Good work, William. I appreciate that. And Travis, thank you for your presentation. That was really poignant as well. So today we're going to talk about contemplating change when it comes to agriculture. And we are going to bring up some slides here if we can. Let's start off and just say, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. That was the father of medicine, Hippocrates, in 360 BC, right? So I'd like to add a caveat. Unless your food is grown in a nutrient and biologically void environment, regularly soaked in toxins. And I call myself the stepson of common sense in 2025. And so this is something that we have to pay attention to, that these principles of healthy agriculture have been around for thousands and thousands of years. And so when we're contemplating change, I ask, can farming be done with zero chemicals? Can that create abundance? Can solving biological problems with biology, not chemistry, be done? And I push back against a lot of the things I hear, that if we want to mimic what the God of nature has created, we're going to have to settle for less abundance than we can if we have chemicals. So let's push back against that just a little bit. So we ask, what do synthetic chemicals, what do they do for us? What do the fertilizers do for us? Well, in short, a shortcut to results is what we've seen over time. So these chemical fertilizers, they offer convenience, simplicity, basic macronutrients, and then all these chemical sides that everybody loves to use, the herbicide, the pesticide, the fungicide, they kill undesirable weeds, pests, and bugs, fungus, and the delivery is usually pretty convenient, pretty quick, right? So that's what it does for us. So how much does this convenience cost us, however? I don't think that a lot of us quite understand. So if we look at the byproducts of use of some of these substances, chemical fertilizer that's synthetically produced, nature does not understand it. And I put Twinkie there because if you think about food, a Twinkie is something that your body doesn't understand, a chemically produced product. With most synthetic fertilizers contain up to 40% of salt chloride content as a way to bind those nutrients and act as a carrier for those nutrients. And these chemical pesticides, not only do they kill the bug you want to kill, they also kill everything else. They kill biological organisms that we don't understand are desirable sometimes. And it's interesting to note that not only that, but it plates your soil faster than tillage. Some of these herbicides, and pesticides, and fungicides, they put electrical charges out there that'll actually plate and seal off a lot of air to your ground. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. So these salts and sides, the Romans, they salted the grounds of their enemies to instigate famine. Yet here we are spending a bunch of money purchasing these things for ourselves. Isn't that funny? Fertilizer salt, it decreases this water efficiency, it kills microbiology, and it ties up essential nutrients that increases the electrical conductivity of our ground. Of the total pounds purchased of some of this commercial fertilizer that we all love to buy, it seems like, only 5% on many of these products of those nutrients that we purchase are used by the plant. And so if you think about that, that's a pretty poor investment. If you're only going to utilize 5% of what you purchase, you might want to rethink why you're purchasing it in the first place. So along with the undesirable pests, those sides kill everything that you want, beneficial soil and leaf surface organisms. And if you guys think about taking a round of antibiotics And the antibiotics may go and kill the infecting bacteria, yes, but it's also killing your immune system. It's killing the microbiology that runs the immune systems in your system, right? And so these are byproducts and side effects that aren't thought about very much. So soil systems, they lose their ability to protect the plants and from the very pests that those sprays are used for. And what happens is this makes the farmer relying on these toxic sides going forward. And even very, very regenerative, organic, sustainable farmers, they seem to hang on and not quite let go and not quite believe that they're not necessary, because it's this crutch that's helped them get to where they're at. So modern ag is so steeped in this synthetic tradition. Why do these things even work at all? And I have a funny story. It's the same reason you have friends or relatives that live on diets of I have here Doritos, Taco Bell, and Mountain Dew, and never seem to get sick. Have you ever met people like this? I have. And they would call on occasion and say, "Oh, you health nut, I never get sick. I'm fine." And here I have all these processed foods and this crazy diet that I eat. And I would suggest that our farm soil can grow crops despite the synthetic inputs and not because of them. Because when people say, well, we got to have synthetic nitrogen to be able to grow crops, we got to have synthetic this and synthetic that to be able to see these results. Well, fair enough. If we give Red Bull and Skittles to a 5-year-old, you're going to see results as well, right? This activity is a metabolic overstimulation that is out of balance. It's not good for the organisms, not good for the 5-year-old, not good for our crops either. And so now we find ourselves after decades of Red Bull and Skittles agriculture, seeing really major cracks in the health of that system. And many of you know now that Mother Nature, through chemical-resistant weeds and bugs, she's fighting back. Now, health is not the lack of sickness, but the presence of vitality. And this came to me after that encounter with that gentleman I was just thinking of, because after his Red Bull and Mountain Dew diet for years and years and years, he would say, "Hey, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy," until he called me one day and said, "Hey, Josh, I have cancer." So was he ever healthy? I would highly suggest not. I would highly suggest that he was in a state of decline the entire time, because he was feeding the bad and starving the good. So how do we accomplish this vitality in our crops, our bodies, all biological organisms? Fair enough. Fair question. So we look to Mother Nature. She provides the ultimate examples of health and vitality, doesn't she? Healthy landscapes, if you think about them, they're diverse. Soils are rich in organic matter, balanced nutrient profiles. These environments are managed by balanced microbiological subterranean ecosystems. Think about what that is, along with diverse and balanced terrestrial ecosystems, animal life above ground. So we got above ground and below ground working together on the same goal. Ecological results are the epitome of health and vitality. Ecological results, however, take an abundance of ecological time, right? So how can we replicate all that beauty, all that health, all that abundance while speeding up that ecological time? Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't have 300 years to make my farm ground pretty. I don't have 300 years to get natural biological systems. I don't even have 10 years to go out and make all these stewardships that I'm allowed to be a part of thrive and abundant and a rich environment. I don't have that kind of time. Neither do you. And so technology is the answer to that, in my opinion. Technology can and does speed up ecological time. I would highly suggest that machinery and also cattle and the use of properly placed livestock, that's technology too, can recreate the same species diversity, biological health, and nutrient profiles that exist in nature in that previous slide. And by obeying nature's laws, people get so scared to do that, don't they? They get scared to obey nature's laws because they think, yeah, need a little 1034, or, oh, need a fungicide, man. We got to have a fungicide. I don't know what's going on. I'm panicking. But that is such a misnomer if you look at the history of agriculture. Obeying nature's laws have predictable outcomes. They really do. It's not risky or has dangerous side effects, right? Because we are Mother Nature. We're part of it. We're biological beings, aren't we? So harnessing modern technology while obeying all of Mother Nature's law, not just part of them. We're very addicted to obeying part of her laws, is the infinitely scalable way to eliminate all synthetic toxins currently used in agriculture while simultaneously producing abundance. That's a big statement. So I started a company in 2022 called Living Soil Management Incorporated. And the goal here is that we use technology to speed up ecological time. Using a systems-based approach, our methods of management and fertilization are curated farmer to farmer, because as the gentleman from Indiana a few meetings ago suggested, that sometimes you can't do what I do other places, right? Fair enough. Different climate, different weather, different soil, different crop, different market, different people. Everything's different all the time. So this creates, when we can curate it farmer to farmer, this creates convenience, time saving for the farmer while doing right by the grower, the soil, and the ecosystem, right? Because so often we attend these conferences and we listen to a lot of good stuff, and we say, like Jared was saying a little bit ago, he's saying, yeah, I'm all excited, but life happens, hits me in the teeth, and what do I do about it? And then you feel kind of depressed because now you know that things could be different, and you want to implement it, right? So when I farmed big acres in Idaho for a lot of years, and I stepped in every single hole you could step in. I screwed up so much, it's unbelievable. And I was able to overcome those challenges because the Lord blessed me with an inability to quit. And so I decided I would create Living Soil Management to be able to be that advocate out in the marketplace that I wish I had when I was going through my journey. So we're not a product company. We will never disobey nature's rules. And we thoroughly test everything we do before we start and as we go, and we're never guessing ever. We always know what's going on moment by moment on the places that we have stewardship over. So what qualifies as inputs? We've talked a lot about inputs the farmers have during this conference. So in my opinion, fertility must follow nature's rules, right? So if we're going to use any product or mineral or method, whatever it is, does the soil understand the input? Similar to like, does your gut microbiome understand Twinkies and Mountain Dew? Nope, they don't. They don't understand that. It's very foreign. These foreign products don't make any sense to your body. That's why your body has such a bad reaction to it. So minimally processed inputs need to be the goal there, not unintelligible products, and as close to base material inputs as we can get. So the next thing we make sure that checks off the list is the byproduct of the input harmful over time. Is the input beneficial to microbiology? Does the input price / value make sense? Because in my opinion, if the steward doesn't thrive, then who cares? Who cares? It's like the gentleman who I don't remember which state it was in, but I was in a state recently, and there was a gentleman in that county that had the record-setting corn yield, and everybody says, "Well, congratulations, Bill. How much money did you make on that?" He says, "Well, I lost money, but you weren't supposed to ask that question." So it's very important that all of these qualifiers are in place before any input is used on any farm or ranch. So why is this even worth it? How does somebody engage in or practice this living soil management? Why is this an important thing for us to do? If you're a conventional or die guy, okay. If you're an organic, regenerative, or die guy, fair enough. But why would either one of those people engage in a practice of living soil management? Well, for a lot of reasons that are beneficial to people. Over our 17 years of management, we've increased crop yields everywhere we've gone. 10 to 44% above the conventional treatments that have been done. We have seen traditionally over a 3-year average increase in water efficiency. So the need for irrigation water on your organic farms goes down about 20%. Zero synthetic inputs of any kind. That means no toxins to mess with, get sick from, which is a huge one, or spend money on. Nutrient density in the crops increase. So last year we did potato trials, and on some potato ground that we were managing, we observed a 400% increase in the nutrient volume in that potato compared to conventional varieties. A 400% increase. That's not nothing. And then, honestly, costs go down. Generally, compared to the conventional programs out there managing farm ground all over America, because of the synthetics, because of the prices of all the sides, all the conventional fertilizer, our costs that we like to see guys hit is 15% under that. Okay, so if we're boosting things by 10 to 44, decreasing the cost by 15, now we're talking. So consulting is the first step, however. So how can we prescribe before we diagnose? That doesn't make any sense. And so when receiving help from agronomic decisions, it's really important to understand the motive behind the people that are helping you. If you want to know about a Chevy, you don't want to go to a Ford dealership, right? So unfortunately, most of the time, the help that almost all of the people in farming get are from the salesmen that sell the products in their product line. I don't think that's, and these people are great people. I'm not trying to run them down at all. But what I'm saying is we have to understand, just be honest about the motives. We don't work for a product line at Living Soil Management. We work and want to be hired by farmers. And we want to help accomplish your goals because, like I said earlier, if the steward isn't thriving, then we need to go do something else that helps us thrive. Bottom line. So we've put together a team with about 55 years of experience in the soil health realm, in the plant soil and sap testing realm, and in the business management realm. And it's kind of a dream team of helping guys to be able to accomplish whatever goals you have when it comes to agriculture and running the business. So being a steward, it's a big deal. Doing right by your family is the number one thing. We can't let that ever drop below number one. And then your land is second. It's a huge responsibility. And so I started this talk by saying contemplating change is going to be a big part of this deal. And by taking things off of your plate rather than putting more things on your plate, I think it's a valid thing to discuss. So in searching outside your comfort zone, because a lot of you guys listening, you're kind of buried, aren't you? You wouldn't log on and search diligently if you're calm, relaxed, profitable, doing good, your feet up's on a chair in some white sandy beach somewhere. You're here because you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to change. Something's creating that momentum for change, right? And so in searching outside your comfort zone, let's figure out if it's worth doing. So I ask you, which one are you? Okay. Are you an oyster or are you yellowfin tuna? Now, it's kind of a funny example, but oysters, if you think about what they are, they're safe. They're filter feeders. They attach themselves to something and they stay there. They're careful. They just kind of open up and they take what comes. And sometimes they even make a pearl if it's the right environment. Okay, fair enough. And the yellowfin is different from the oyster. Now, the yellowfin always has options. It always keeps moving. Fun fact about yellowfin tuna, they have to cover 2.5 times their body length every second of their life so that enough water passes over their gills for them to have enough oxygen. So that's why these yellowfin tuna get so big. You see that thing looks like a football. It doesn't care about status quo. It endures a little bit more danger, but the trade-off is it can get exactly what it wants, and it has total self-determination. Now, I'm not here to tell you that one way of being, you can draw the parallels. I'm not telling you that one way of being is better than the other. What I need you to understand and get real about is you're probably in one of those camps, right? Fair enough. Be the best you can, and that's what we ask. We need to find out, you need to figure out who you are. Just be honest, tell the truth. figure out who you are, and we want you to be the best oyster or the best yellowfin tuna that you can possibly be. Silly example, but it's very prescient for the situation. So the things we do at Living Soil Management, we do on-site and remote consulting to help people, but we also do on-site testing, soil sap and nutrient density. We do on-site living fertilizer, brewing, mixing, and application. We believe what I didn't have when I was starting out is I didn't have anybody that can come shoulder to shoulder and say, hey, I'll help you. Let's do this together. I have a team with 55 years of experience. Let's get this done. And I think that this is needed. Because if we have just a cluster of different advice thrown at us from 18 different directions and we want to implement it all, we're going to screw up. Human beings can only be good at like 3 things. I'm good at way less than 3 things, right? So I need to bring people in around me that are good at the rest of it. God is the source of all truth, and I'm not him, nor are any of the experts that give advice, right? And so what do? We get together, we collaborate, we try to understand what the truth of the matter is, what your goals are, and make that happen. The sun provides 5,000 horsepower worth of solar energy on every square foot of land per year in the world. And if you do a crazy math equation, that actually translates to 2.2 million gallons of diesel fuel energy bathes each acre of earth each year. So every year, you guys, we're bathed in abundance in so many ways. And for whatever reason, life, Mother Nature, social norms, whatever it is, gets in the way. So what my call to action today for everybody would be, let's not stand in Mother Nature's way. Let's let the God of nature thrive. Let's let her be able to do her thing. And let's see if we can make our animals, our crops, and our cropland fill the measure of its creation and actually produce abundance for its stewards. That's my mission. That's our mission here at Living Soil Management. That's what I believe is possible. And I know for sure it can happen. Getting bogged down in the details and getting very interested in complicated things. I call it being in the thick of thin things is a trap that many of us fall into. And it's something that we need to be careful about and avoid at all possible, if at all possible. The soil food web is on our right. This is what we want to have happen on everybody's farmland, ranch ground that you have. It's really important that we can get a good relationship of all the beneficial microbiology, the minerals, the nutrients, to be able to take that abundance of sunshine and turn it into sustainable human nutrition of one kind or another. And is there any questions?
Pretty cool, Josh. Pretty cool. Tell us your is it 5 key elements that that we manage as stewards?
Well, there's only 5 things. So when we get confused about any problem, it's important to understand that there's only 5 things. There's space, there's time, there's matter, there's energy, and there's intelligence. Now, the answer to every single problem, the solution to every single issue in the whole world is one of, or a combination of space, time, matter, energy, or intelligence. And so it's very, very simple if you break it down. Now, one thing that makes me nervous is if I hear somebody describing things to me that I need to implement in my business or on farm ground or with people that use 26 letter long words and are very confusing and get very intellectual, right? I don't believe that the God of nature intends us to be geniuses, or else we would have starved to thousands of years ago. I think we need to understand very, very simple concepts and try to find the least common denominator in every situation. And if we can do that, then not only is the monkey off our back and the stress mitigated, but we can find the answers to our questions much more efficiently. People are the ones that complicate things. People are the one that sells us jugs of things and say, hey, this jug is going to solve all your problems. You know, this complicated whatever it is will solve your issue. This diet pill will make you thin. It's ubiquitous across all humanity. If you're technically confusing, excuse me, then there's a value for you in the marketplace because people don't understand and they just believe you. They say, okay, yeah, we'll try it. I don't know. And that's something that I want to get away from. God didn't send us here to fail. He sent us here to understand basic and simple principles to be stewards of his land and return back to him. And that's the bottom line.
Very cool. Yeah, that's wonderful. So Josh, next step with you, if somebody's like, man, need to work with this guy, what's that next step?
Yeah, go to the website that's on the screen, livingsoilmgmt.com. Email us at livingsoilmgmt@gmail.com. We do sap and soil testing. It's hard to trust people. It really is. And so what's really important to understand is we get it. I was the same way. I didn't like people knocking on my door, telling me that they had all the answers. And you know what? I'm not knocking on people's doors telling them I have all the answers either. But what I do know is that the God of nature has all the answers, and we simply need to follow her rules. And so if you want to work with somebody that literally is not the genius, but follows Mother Nature's rules as closely as we can ascertain, then we might be a good fit. And if you reach out to the website there or the email, visit with us, tell us your problems, concerns, share what you have going. We have insight or on-site meetings that we schedule, and we run out to people's places and we sit them down and we say, hey, what do you have going on? How can we help? Can we be of service? And our policy is if we can't 15x what we cost, then we're not going to engage our services. We're just not. If you guys have things going at an efficiency level that's, where you want it, or we don't feel like we could raise your bar 15x of what my little fee is to run out and meet with you or my team, then we'll decline, because you guys need to make the money in this deal. You guys, the stewards of farm and ranch ground all over America, need to be the ones that stick the cash in their pocket. It doesn't need to go to expensive consultants. It doesn't need to go to fertilizer companies. You guys need it. Okay. And so we help you understand what your goals are. Just, it helps to have somebody that from the outside looking in can shed some light on things. And then we just go from there and do the right thing.
Love it. That is great. Well, Josh, if you are available, 5 o'clock your time, we're going to do a little bonus session. There is a lot of questions on soil health. William's going to be on. If you and or Shiloh would be available and want to jump back on the same link, this is an invitation for everybody. Stick around for a few minutes after, and we'll probably run for another half hour, 45 minutes. That's a complete bonus session. We officially end at like 4 o'clock, wrap up a few things till 10 after. So
that's 2
Josh,
hours. 2 hours from now, you're saying, Jared, right?
2 hours. Yep. 2 hours from now. Yep.
All right. Shiloh's at a conference right now. He's at the Idaho Potato Conference, man in a booth for us, but
okay.
I'll see if I can jump back on then.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate it. Everybody give Josh some love in the chat. Let him know.
Thank you guys for the time, and thank you, Jared, for putting this on. I appreciate you all.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.